Well, it's time to move on, guys. We're going to move on to the next topic, which kind of has an interesting tie-in, I guess, to that whole topic. But yeah, we're 10 minutes over, so we're going to get moving on to the next one. And essentially, I want to talk about burnout, and I guess this could be part of that conversation also. But like, and this came up not so much through the Division, but it definitely, because when I stopped playing the Division, it wasn't because of burnout necessarily. It was just because of content and irritation in the game. But at what point do you get too burned out of a game, and what prevents that burnout? Is it just, yo, what's up, Flecky Charms? You kick ass. Thanks very much for the host. I totally appreciate it. What prevents that burnout for you? Just not playing the game, or like having new content to constantly play? And this can kind of tie into the PvP discussion a little bit, because I think that's one of the reasons why people enjoy PvP content, is because it kind of can avoid that burnout, because it's different encounters each time, right? I agree. It's what that stigma is. Grinding the mission is literal insanity. I mean, see, I don't think that, Cosby. I don't think that grinding a mission is insanity. Because anybody that played Division 1 and that grinded Lexington for hours / days on end to get that one piece, I wouldn't say that was insanity. I think it was irritating at a certain point. But that was more because I think the drop rates, I think anything like that should have specific failure loot tables, right? Where like let's say it's a 1% chance to get it. The first time it drops and you don't get it, your percentage goes up by 0.5% or whatever. So the next time you get 1.5% chance. So eventually you will get it without having to do what you do. Whereas like in Destiny with Anarchy, you can run that raid. I think I saw the other day, there's somebody that's got a verified like 100 or 130 runs of that raid and still has not gotten Anarchy. I don't think that's insanity. I really don't. I think that's what good looter shooters should, what good looter shooters should, I don't want to say encourage, but that's incentivization to play the game. And looter shooters have to have that. I feel like for me, every game that's PvE burns out faster than PvP. I can get that. I do think that PvE burns out faster than PvP, or encourages burnout faster than PvP, specifically because PvP is different, right? So there's always that slight change, right? Either the battleground itself changes or the people involved in it changes, and so because of that dynamic aspect of PvP, it feels fresher for longer. Where PvP or PvE does not have that. But that's where I think PvE, there needs to be things built in. Like I said, either loot protection, or if this is the mission that we grind for to get this gun this week, then maybe that mission changes next week. And that's actually what I really like about the targeted loot system in Division 2 that we have now. If you didn't, are you even human? I completely agree, Kaz. I completely agree. I did I don't even know how many times I did it. I remember I lost count around 50 because I saw a bunch of people, I've done it 250 times. And at that time, it was like the fastest you could do it was like 5 to 6 minutes. And I was like, dude, there's literally not enough time that this has been available for you to have done that 1,000 times already. Shut the fuck up, exaggerators. Not you, but the people that were exaggerating. DZ isn't the end game. It's its own leveling system. Evolve? What's Evolve, brother Shmi? DZ is endgame? DZ is an endgame. I agree. DZ is the PvP endgame. I completely agree. And it should be. But I don't think the DZ should be the endgame. I can't farm the same shit over and over. Benz, So, Benz, what type of games do you prefer then? Because I mean that is the heart of a looter shooter, right? It is repeating either the same tasks or the same content loop to get either new rewards or the reward, right? One game that's PvE that didn't get a lot of rep, but long Remnant from the Ashes. Oh, I heard of that game. I never played it. Another farm missions on the hardest difficulty for gear, then bother with the DZ again. Yeah, I mean, but I think that comes down to personal preference, right? And I'm the same way. I don't want to lose my shit. I don't. And if I did lose my shit, I've said forever, I've wanted the light zone. I was talking about this earlier today. I want the light zone in the Division 2 to work the same way as the Dark Zone does, and the way that I thought the Dark Zone did or should have. As like, because back when they were talking about wanting like a PvE Dark Zone, I always thought that make it like Underground, where you know how in the Underground, if hunters spawned after a mission, you would get at least one hunter more than whatever your group was. And I think even in the light zone, I think we should have to extract gear. I just don't think it should be PvP. When I feel like I'm approaching burnout in anything, I usually change your time to a different hobby game, almost like a rotation. See, the problem, but what if you really enjoy, I guess if you're really enjoying, is burnout the point at which you don't enjoy it anymore? Or is it the point that it starts to get more frustrating than it feels like it's worth for your time? I guess that's a question I want to ask then. Like, what is burnout? Maybe that's what we should have started. I didn't explore this topic very, very fully, honestly, and I probably should have started this one second because, like, we're still on the Dark Zone conversation. But lasagna is boss. But what is burnout? Because for me, burnout is just like when I get to the point that I've played, and I stop getting that high from it or like that drive, and then like when I go to log in the next day, it's like, oh man, dude, I gotta play some more. And like I didn't get that. I guess I got I never had that with Division 2. I never really did feel like that with Division 2. I've always felt like that with Destiny. But what causes it for you, Nuke Flounder? What causes burnout for you? Like boredom, or is it a sense of just your time not feeling rewarded? Because again, we could tie that into the Dark Zone. If I spend 2 hours in the Dark Zone grinding one weapon and I finally get it to drop and I go to extract it and I get jumped by 4 people and I lose my gun, I feel like I just wasted my fucking time. And that's not fun. That's just not fun for me. But I don't like to PvP. For other PvPers or for people that enjoy PvP, that's the moment where they're like, oh yeah, it's fucking on. I'm going to track that motherfucker down and get my gun back. And that is what like hypes them up. That's what I would assume they want. Me, I just get frustrated. I'm like, sweet, I just wasted 2 fucking hours. Fuck this game. And I'll leave the DC. Destiny felt like a job at a certain point. Dude, prick, Destiny has always felt like a job to me at a certain point. And it's always when I get to a point in the game, especially in Destiny, where I get to a point that I've played all of the new content at least a few times. And it turns into, well, I've got to log in because I've got to do this daily. I've got to get this and I got to get that. And as soon as it turns into that, I'm done. And that's when I just leave. And that happened with at the end of near the end of Shadowkeep. I logged in the first week of this new season to check out what the new activity was. And I was like, I'm done. Because now, like, people in Division 2 are pissed off because of this idea of having to regrind their gear with Gear 2.0. And Destiny, you have to regrind your gear every 3 months. You have to regrind a new set of armor every 3 months. Technically, if you want to have max armor sets for every build type, you have to regrind 3 full sets of gear every 3 months, the way it is right now. And at that, I love looter shooters. I love grind. Not for me, I'm out. But you could get out and the rolls could still be trash. Time not wasted. No, it's not. Because even if the rolls are trash, and this is a great example. My very first Barrett's chess piece was rolled electronics. And I'm trying to remember the other rolls. It was absolute garbage roll. Like nothing on it was valuable to me. And I, at that time, I think I was mostly playing Predmark in PvE because I always liked it, even though I know it was more of a PvP build. I always loved it in PvP, or in PvE rather, but it was the one set, it was Predmark and Blind, back before I was Banshee, was the set that I put together that was able to beat a challenging underground during 1.3. So Predmark's always kind of been that. But I was playing Predmark and I would play Sentry in PvE. And my first Barrett's chess piece rolled electronics and everything else on it was garbage. Its armor roll was absolutely horseshit. And I was like, dude, this piece is garbage. But you know what it did? It convinced me to build a D3 set, to use it as my chest piece in a D3 set, because electronics helps give me a better shield. I don't need the armor roll on it because I'm not getting hit. And from that point on, I turned into a shield bro. And I turned into a shield brother for life. That one piece was the worst piece of loot I've ever wanted, and I grinded hard for it. It was completely fucking useless. Or so I thought. And then I turned lemonade, I turned lemon shit into lemonade. So time's not always wasted if it's got shit rolls. Because here's the other thing, Kaz, if I can call you Kaz, for certain players, gear exists on a spectrum, right? It's not only nothing or god roll, right? For certain types of players, it exists on a spectrum, and just having one, it doesn't have to be god roll, because for this type of player, maybe this person isn't doing the hardest content. Like, you can call them a casual or whatever you want to call them, but they just want the piece, right? They just want it. They want to be able to go out, have some fun, kill some red bars, or like do this hard mode mission or whatever with it. They just want to have fun. And for that, the drop itself is worth it. Then you have the next level of people that want the drop with decent rolls because they take the game seriously. Maybe they want to do challenging content solo, or they want to whatever. And so like they need better rolls, right? And so they may farm 4 or 5 drops to get the one that's okay for them. Then you have, the super hardcore people that will farm that motherfucker until they get the god roll that they want, and they are not happy until they get that. So that player that just farmed that item exists on that spectrum somewhere, right? So if I get it and it's shit, at least I've got it. I might be able to use it, I might not. Me, I'm generally not happy with that roll. I need to go back and get a couple more until I get it. However, perfect example was a Pestilence, because I don't enjoy the DZ. When I went in to get my Pestilence, it took me about an hour and a half. Got it out. I left the DZ, and I didn't go back until like 2 weeks ago. And I did have a blast last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever I was in there. And the way to adjust your thinking is that you didn't truly get anything in the DZ until you extract? Well, and I agree with that. And I actually like the way that Destiny 2 does contaminated gear better than Destiny 1. I like the fact that I can't even see what's on the item, so I don't really get attached to it. I would prefer if it was just blind and the item didn't even generate until it goes out, so that I didn't even know if I have an exotic or a named item before it gets out. I don't even want to know that, because I can't tell you how many times in D1 I finally got my 4th piece of strikers in the DZ, specifically a chest, because the white and black made it kind of look like Punisher, and it got taken from other players, and I got pissed. Usually try to play the game for every cent it's worth. Oh, I completely agree. Especially with the cost of games today and just a time investment. Feel like you always end up looking up things online. I do too. And that takes us kind of back to what we were just talking about internet forums. And if we wouldn't have gotten off topic a lot, that was the last thing I wanted to bring up, and that's my fault for failing at that. Is like, that's the good side of internet forums, especially the more complex games get. And like Division 2 is a perfect example of that, with all of the brand sets and all of the talents, and this talent not being able to be used with this one, and this talent needing this many blue abilities, and this one needing as many reds, and then this one having to have this one, and like all of these things. That's where forums are awesome, to look up what can I use, what can I build. As soon as Div 1 dropped, I left Destiny. My friends didn't. I mean, prick, I'm going to be honest, I kind of have gone back and forth between the two, because it seems like whenever I get burned out of one, I go to the other, and then as soon as I get burned out of that one, I go back to the other. But content creation and streaming kind of changed that for me a little bit, but that's subjectively speaking, or trying to speak objectively, I guess, about my own content, I feel like I am a better Division 2 content creator than I am Destiny, because A, I know the game better than I know Destiny. B, the rhythm of combat and the rhythm of game helps me stream it better. Like, I'm a better Division streamer than I am Destiny streamer. So that always kind of plays into my choices. But that's also why I'm playing UFC 3 right now. Like, I feel like I have a fucking blast in UFC 3, and because of that, I think chat has a good time. But that's another that's another con. Maybe we'll talk about that next week, about streaming and game choice. If you don't like grinds, don't play Classic WoW. I mean, that's the thing, Gail. You and I both come from like the MMO world, and I don't know if anybody else in chat has ever played like a true MMO. That's where I come from. So like that grind, I have no problem with. My favorite game of all time, literally, and I'm not exaggerating, had no content. The content was doing the same shit over and over. Putting up extractors to go get minerals from this planet because they're really good right now, so that I can wait 4 days for that to extract and to fill, so then I can craft armor to sell to this person so that I can get more money, so that I can build more extractors so that I can go extract more shit. Like, that was gameplay. Or go out and kill a bunch of creatures at this nest so then I can get the skin, because the skin right now is rolling super, super high stats, so I can sell it to an armor smith and then go to this kiosk and then regenerate all of the missions until I can get, that type of creature to come out. Like, that was Star Wars Galaxies. And that's been my favorite game of all time. And there was literally no content. And that's all it was grind. Grind, 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 grind. I've been farming one item for a specific boss for a month now. 60 ferocious clams. It's taken 3 months. 4 are good. What in the hell is a ferocious clam? That sounds like a bad date, dude. You can see what's on contaminated gear before? No shit. I thought it was all like squiggly. Do you have to go back into your pack and let's see? That's how little time I spent in the DZ. The perfect berserk chest. Oh, it's called a ferocious clam? God damn, dude. That sounds like a terrible date. Ferocious clam, your porn name? Oh, calm. Okay, it was a typo. I honestly thought you were talking about WoW, and that was like a creature in WoW. And then I was like, man, that really does sound like a bad date. Then Ramsey made the same fucking joke. No, I don't. Because I don't go with the DC. I literally, because I stopped playing Division 2 back at episode 2. I stopped when they first pulled Kenley College out, because I was pissed about that choice. I was really, really, really upset about that. And not upset like, oh, I'm personally offended, blah, blah, blah. But I was really like, this is a terrible fucking decision, and fuck this game because of it. I'm done. I was just done at that point. I was pissed off that episode 1 was only 2 missions, 2 classifieds. And then the biggest part of that and the namesake of that episode, they pull out after 2 weeks. I was like, stupid. And that was never mentioned before that. Done. Absolutely done. So I quit playing the game, and I came back right at episode 2 to play the Pentagon mission to see what it was, because I had a way better idea for it, which then I made a video about it. And I played the 2 main missions, and I was like, cool. I played those. They were cool missions. I'm done. And that was when they added all of the new named items and stuff. But because of that, because I just went back for those 2 missions, and I was having a blast in Shadowkeep at that time. Destiny 2 Shadowkeep came out. I was having an absolute blast. I was already kind of feeling that burnout. I played 2 missions, and I was already, like we're talking about with like when you go to log in and it feels like a chore. I guess that Destiny 2 kind of did feel like that for me at that time. It was like, I want to see what these new named items are, but I don't really want to go like targeted grind for this or that, or when most of it's going to be useless. Nope, I want to go have fun with Johnny Boom and Imperium in Destiny 2. So that's what I did. So I still don't have most of the named items. And the ones I do have, I think I've purchased most of them. I don't know that I've seen many fall in the wild. I think I've gotten a couple like actual drops. It was weird content to Timegate. No, it really was. And it wasn't so much that it was weird content to Timegate. I could get if you want to Timegate it, but then communicate it like beforehand. And that just, I don't know. It's always sat weird with me. I feel like even now, they Timegate it just to justify their initial choice, which seems weird to me. I just don't know why they do that. It really, really, it's always sat weird with me because especially like, and that was where I started getting irritated with their marketing about their stuff, which honestly, again, to tie in, led to Burnout. Because the marketing about that was like them combining the title update and the game changes with the episode. I think it is a big misdirection to make it seem like each episode is more than what it actually is. Right? It makes it seem like, oh, we're getting all this new content, all this new stuff. This DLC is free, and look at all we're getting. Not really. Those are game changes. The title updates are what the game needs anyway, right? That's just regular maintenance that we expect in a game that fits that model of games as a service. And when they conflate it and when they release that at the same time, and I understand why they do it, because like with big content drops, that's when you want those big drops. But man, the way, because Diamondback was specifically supposed to be an exotic with episode 2. And instead, when they pulled that out, now all episode, or with episode 1 rather, all episode 1 really was at that point was 2 main missions, 2 classifieds, that was it. There was nothing else with episode 1. And then now, and I think that's why this whole not wanting to name the date thing irritates me so much, because there's so much weird communication going on with them. I'm a big PvP player, but I'm down for anything. I love helping and carrying people because it feels more rewarding than 99% of the stuff. I get that. I've honestly wanted to do streams where we just like do the Sherpa, not Sherpaing, what do you call it? When you answer the calls for help and you go and you do it and you get the little points, like they added the new thing. They were talking about in State of the Game today that like Mr. Commendation was the first one to get like level 99 in that. I wanted to do entire streams where that's all we did, but we did it in first person. There was but that we role play it. Shepherd, yeah, the Shepherd system. There was a streamer, YouTuber. You guys have probably all heard of him, Stone Mountain 64. If you guys have never seen his YOLO on the Division series, fucking priceless. And I wanted to do that with the Shepherd system, and I just haven't yet. So any other good content creators are out there, fucking take that and run with it, because I think it would be awesome. I think it would be a lot of fun. But essentially what he did was he did it, with a lot of military speak and like first person role played it, and he's like in there and like making fun of people's builds and gear. He's like, let's go, and then he goes charging out, and then he gets shocked, and he's like, oh, I just pissed on myself, I'm shocked. It's funny as hell. You should go check him out. But he doesn't do that anymore, sadly, because now he's super big time. And yeah, man, there's a talk we could have sometime about when content creators get big and how much they change and how much their content that drew you in originally just seems to go away. Gear 2.0 dropped with episode 3. I'll be shocked and horny. Dude, I gotta tell you, if Gear 2.0 dropped with episode 3, I would probably masturbate. I might do it on stream. I might. I don't think I will, though. Dude, Geodude, what's up, man? You love my Star Wars stuff? Thank you. Thank you very much. Life-size cardboard standee. Vader went to TwitchCon. Yeah, and then my Vader and my Boba Fett Mythos statues from a Sideshow Collectible. And the Darth Malgus statue actually was what you got with the collector's edition of SWTOR when that came out. The Vader lamp, and then there's Punisher. Tink. That's another Sideshow piece. And then Wolverine, the Lego figure of K2SO is there. That one down there is a different Punisher figure. My Dark Zone statue is there. My teddy bear is down there too. And then I've got the Terminator, Caesar, and my alien, my xenomorph egg and stuff right there. But they get blocked behind me. But Caesar is always judging you. So just remember, no matter what you say in here, Caesar, wait, where is he? There he is. Caesar is silently judging you always. You can't see him, but he is always silently judging you in chat. Very true. So have good opinions and don't suck. Sorry, I just totally stole that from Jim Rome. Have a take and don't suck. Nice to see you went to TwitchCon. So did you. How did I like it? Dude, I enjoyed TwitchCon. I wish I could go this year, but it's just too expensive, so I probably won't be able to. I had a good time, though. I had a good time. It was a different experience. I didn't get as much out of it as I'd hoped. But in 5 minutes, we can talk about TwitchCon. On Wednesdays, I do the show. It's right there. This Week in Geek. And we kind of have timed segments where we talk about specific topics. Bam, right there. So we're talking about gaming burnout right now. And then at the end of this half hour, we have like free for all where we just talk about shit. And it's only supposed to go a half an hour, but generally it goes a little bit longer. It can't tonight because I actually have to edit the first topic of this to get up on YouTube for tomorrow. So, dude, thank you very much for the follow. Boomer, right there, man. Boomer appreciates you. He's saying hi. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Porn name, please. My porn name? You want my porn name? I don't think I've ever actually thought of my own porn name. I don't know. Sir Flops a lot? I don't even know. Man, do I have a porn name? I don't think I do. I wouldn't have a name. I would just let my action speak for itself. Sir Tongues a lot, maybe? I don't know. Man, that's a good question. What's my porn name? Dick Soup? No, I don't know. I don't know what my porn name would be. It's a good question, though. But anyway, burnout. So what do you do to avoid burnout when you start feeling it? Do you just change games? Do you change the way that you play that game? Do you try to focus on a different aspect of that game? I think most of us probably just stop playing the game and switch to a different game. I was never the type to be able to do that. Or I was very reluctant to do that. A few years ago when I first started streaming, I think that year I only played 4 games the entire year. This year I played more than that this month. I don't like to label myself and I think too many streamers actually do themselves a disservice by labeling themselves as a Destiny streamer or a Division streamer or a variety streamer or a horror streamer or a chatting streamer. I really think people limit themselves too much by that. And I learned that firsthand, starting with the Division, because I was a Division streamer and then I went to Destiny 2 and for 3 months, I went from having 12 people in chat to having 3. And then went back to Destiny went back to Division, got that number back up, was back up to 14, 15, and then right back down as soon as I changed games. Whereas if you're just a streamer, just a broadcaster, just be happy with that and play and let your personality be why people want to spend time with you instead of what game you're playing. I think you'd be more successful. I think we all would be, but I don't know. I haven't been able to find that yet either, because I still find whenever I leave the Division, numbers go down. I go back to the Division, numbers go up. But I don't let that decide what I do anymore, which is why I haven't felt burned out with any games in a long time, because I've just been playing what I want, what I'm having fun with. I don't care about the stream numbers anymore. I don't think I'm ever going to get partnered, so that's like past that. I just want to be able to have streaming fund itself and have fun. Like, that's all I want to do. So hopefully that comes across now, which is why I'm playing UFC, still on Mondays, because I'm having an absolute blast with it. And in what we've got 32 days? No, 38 days. 38 days. We get MLB 20, which I can't fucking wait for. So, but yeah, I think changing games is generally what most people tend to do. I will say that sometimes in Division 1, and even in Destiny, I think Destiny, you can kind of get around it a little bit because there's so much to do. There's so many different kind of activities. In Division 1, I kind of felt like that too. If I got really bored of doing underground or grinding this or grinding that, I feel like Division 1, I could always switch to like, go play survival for a while, or go do this, or go do that instead. Destiny is the same way. When I get burned out of running raids constantly, well, then I can go and I can do a little bit of Crucible. I've never had that much fun doing Crucible. Or, I can go grind Nightfalls, or I can go Nightfalls. Nightfalls. Now that they've got like Nightmare Hunts and that kind of stuff, there's just so much other shit that you can play. I almost think Destiny 2 right now has too much content. But, and Gail, that's why I made the video I did about the Pentagon, in my opinion, should have been a giant fucking replayable area with a bunch of missions. Like, it should have been Underground 2.0. It really should have been. I will never stop saying that.